seem more common than the good old sword, but not all swordsmen are created equally. For today's list, we're going to be going over some of the most absurd and overpowered masters of the sword that the anime world has given us, and to add an extra challenge, I'll be straying away by default from all those isekai and light novel characters, because we know incomprehensibly overpowered characters are all the rage these days. So here we are, my gallery of some of the most overpowered swordsmen in anime.
Gotta be on here, gotta be on
Let's
here.
open up with one of the OGs, Goemon.
He just called this.
The Lupin series isn't exactly the first title that crosses anyone's mind when the topic shifts to overpowered characters, but can we take a step back and look at Goemon's insane feats? With Goemon, the show takes realism and throws it out the window in hilariously entertaining ways. I'm not just talking about one-man army moments, it showcases his skill, I'm sure, but what makes him overpowered is how his sword can just slice through anything. Literally. Airplanes, cars, trucks, anything. Heck, even meteors and lightning are no match against his almighty Zantetsuken. That's absurd in an entertaining, over-the-top way, if you ask me. Next up is another OG, Hiko Seijuro. It takes a monster of a man to be the master and mentor to the notorious Batosai, but that description doesn't exactly describe Hiko Seijuro now, does it? First impressions can be misleading, and while he does look cool and powerful, Seijuro doesn't seem to be an absolute top-tier fighter. Well, he's strong, but to the point where his involvement would have quickly ended the whole Shishio fiasco, but he is apparently that, and there's no one in Rurouni Kenshin who can even come close to this guy. It's just a shame that he doesn't have a lot of chances to show his actual prowess in the show. It's in the personality, after all. He doesn't get too involved with the story and its events, but given that he's trained Kenshin and how he demolishes all competition when he does show up, it's clear as day that Hiko Seijuro is the most powerful character in Rurouni Kenshin.
It's key points though, like Thriller Bark, for example, and even Dress.
How about moving to something more modern? Wait, FMA has been around for almost 2 decades now?
Hey,
anyway, here's King
the Fuhrer, bro. Hey, before we knew he was bad, even though he gave off some. He gave some vibes that he was shady as fuck. But, bro, that motherfucker showing up, he's saving the day. He like that, bro.
The unstoppable King Bradley, owner of the all-seeing ultimate eye. But a broken ability does not a badass and overpowered swordsman make. For all the hype behind the powers of precognition, King Bradley as both a character and a fighter isn't solely defined by it. If it were me, I'd say that King Bradley strikes fear in the hearts of enemies due to his sheer skill in swordsmanship. Being a homunculus, he naturally has augmented physical abilities, agility, reflexes, all of that sort of stuff. He's not the biggest powerhouse the series has to offer, but he's by far one of the best duelists here, being able to turn numbers disadvantages into easy and memorable wins. Then you remember that ultimate eye I talked about? That more or less brings everything over the edge, and you can see how Bradley has maintained his hold over power for so long. It makes his eventual defeat all the more cathartic and built Scar up so much. We couldn't have this list without Guts too.
Say you swear to God, that's how bad that CGI is in the anime. Say you swear to God, bro. Bro, that's the level of animation in CGI.
Guts is just the type of character that oozes badass, edgy energy with his every movement. The design speaks for itself, and he fits seamlessly in the gritty, no-nonsense storytelling that Berserk gives us. I don't exactly know where to start with Guts because he just has so many moments worth talking about in the show. Probably the most popular amongst them is the one where he defeats 100 soldiers, a shining moment where he not only shows off his power, but his durability as well. Berserk's filled with badass characters, but none of them embody the word as much as Guts himself. Among the characters we've covered so far, he's by far the perfect raid boss,
in the
a pure
manga,
juggernaut of power and hardiness.
Beast,
Afro Samurai's a cool one too.
Yeah, Afro Samurai. Yes, sir, a beast.
Afro Samurai is not too known, but who else can get a short anime series all meant to show how awesome he is? Yet the whole premise of Afro Samurai is his quest to be the strongest and how amazing he is in the road to glory. From the get-go, we get treated to a one-man army moment after another in a series that pulls no punches in depicting violence and how unstoppable Afro really is. In terms of having strength that's just impossible to wrap our heads around, I admit that Afro falls a bit short compared to someone like King Bradley, but that doesn't detract from how overpowered and badass he is. This is something you must see to believe. So head on over, start watching the show's 5 episodes, and be dazzled at the might of Afro Samurai.
He has the right word. Might. He was like that.
His poster child for Overpowered Swordsmen, Genbachi.
Oh, show me something about Bleach, bro. Tell me I can watch it. Right now.
You know, part of me wanted to give the title to Aizen or Yuha from the upcoming 1000-year Blood War arc. However, the latter's manga exclusive for now, and the former feels like a mage in terms of fighting. However, in honest, brutal, no-holds-barred sword fights, without delving into the manga-only spoiler territory for to-be-revealed swordsmen and swordswomen, few can come close to Genbachi. Genbachi is the series' definition of an overpowered monster that's virtually impossible to stop. Whereas most Shinigami use magical powers from their swords, Genbachi just prefers to face his battles head on. Direct combat and getting down.
So look, my thing is this, right? Because at first, the real reason I haven't really wanted to watch Bleach is kind of like the art style. Because like, you know how people say like they didn't want to watch One Piece, oh, the art style is ugly. I feel the same way about Bleach. So I just haven't really wanted to get into it, but I think I'm going to, because I want to react to the 1000-year Blood arc when it comes out in October. I just don't know when I'm gonna do it, bro.
Dirty's his jam, and if we're gonna let the anime's combat record speak, it's a pretty damn effective tactic, isn't it? Genbachi hasn't really lost a single fight so far. Will the 1000-year Blood War arc be finally when Genbachi finds his match? Let's wait and see. Does Levi count? Well,
yes.
He's pretty overpowered as they come.
Absolutely. But look, his swordsman, I don't know. His swordsmanship is not like, I wouldn't compare him to a nigga like Zoro. You know what I'm saying? I would never put him in the same bag as Zoro. But he is a swordsman. Like
He's not humanity's strongest soldier for nothing. It's been almost a decade since Levi first graced our screens with his jaw-dropping feats, and it's great that he's still going strong. He's still as overpowered as they come, and even in the latter seasons of Attack on Titan, you can see that he's pretty much a one-man army. Some people even go as far as to say,
ain't it crazy how hard they nerfed his ass in the 4th season?
He's the one person single-handedly keeping the balance of power between humanity and Titans in check. We all know that Eren's the big star in the finale of Attack on Titan, but Levi's left quite a legacy in his wake. His Zeke battles are moments immortalized in every Attack on Titan fan's lives, and everyone knows how epic seeing him slice and dice his way to Titans will always be. The One Piece universe, the undisputed king of the sword is Mihawk.
Bro, he did our favorite character so dirty, bro. With a fucking butter knife, bro.
There's a good reason to fear Mihawk. Titled strongest swordsman in the world, his appearance alone strikes into his opponents a very powerful presence, but wait until you get to actually see what he's capable of. To wit, he's defeated Zoro handily, and you know you're pretty badass to have dueled with Shanks multiple times. With those credentials under his belt, seeing him lay waste to entire fleets of ships or flexing his power against gigantic icebergs does seem like child's play, don't you think? The kicker? All his feats are of his own abilities and strength. He has no devil fruit, but I wouldn't blame you if you thought that he had one, really.
Bro, struck fear to everybody. That's crazy.
Let's save the most insane of them all for last. Utsuro. In all my my years of
fuck is
watching
this?
anime, I don't think that any anime swordsman comes close to Utsuro in terms of being overpowered. We're talking about a guy who can outright defy death here. Besides those gimmicks, Utsuro himself is as skilled as they come in combat. He's the type of person who would take on an entire protagonist party and come out on top without breaking a sweat. Considering how many top tier swordsman Gintama has, I mean that's a feat by itself. But then you add all those immortality gimmicks,
Bro,
it's no wonder there's an entire arc
I've
about
never
him
watched
wanting to
it.
die
What
in a
the
blaze
fuck
of
is
glory
this?
and having to take the whole universe with him. It does take a whole load of plot contrivances and combinations from the protagonists and allies to finally put him down, and that's just a testament to how broken he really is.
俺たちはあの怪物一人に滅ぼされる。
Who amongst these swordsmen is the most overpowered and badass of them all? You tell me. If you're interested in connecting through social media, head on over to the
Hey, that was a nice video, bro. That was a great video, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. I thought Zoro was gonna be on the list, bro. They did him dirty by putting Mihawk on that bitch, because Mihawk for surely dubbed his ass. But hey, like, comment, subscribe if you're new. Comment under the video if you want to see me react to anything else. And I'm out, bro.